JJ the CPA here. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the Boardroom. This is my son Cooper. We work together. We've got Jensen and Jensen. I'm third generation. He's fourth generation in the tax industry. And what you're looking into is our boardroom for running our company. I've been doing this for 27 years plus. Coop's in his first full year, and I am ready to already start heave-hoeing stuff over to Cooper. So there's my opening. What do you got, man?
Oh, I mean, not much really. We've been busy. Yeah, we really are. We'll get into it, and maybe I'll kind of first speak about it. But I think we might have mentioned it early in other episodes. But we've officially started to make the splash in the real estate industry.
Yeah.
They don't know it yet.
Right. Yeah.
But the first steps that have been needed to be put into play are now in play. Some of them are actually now done. And one of those first steps is getting approved for a real estate school. So we are awaiting approval on that. And we're now putting together our first bits of the seminar, or I guess making final touches, you could say. But, a lot of exciting things, met some interesting people that I think as well are going to help us out. But, we were just actually recently with a lawyer who's a client of ours and speaking to him about it. And he kind of had the same reaction that when we've told other people, which is just like, there's a real niche there. And I think you guys are really going to, play a big part in terms of really reaching a lot of these realtors.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about the rest of the United States in terms of working with realtors, but no. I'm saying for people that are watching elsewhere and they're like, well, that happens all the time in California, but here in Oklahoma,
especially in the metro,
8,000 realtors. Those are buying and selling real estate, and they're just an underserved market. And I think with my mindset of helping a industry that matches Amanda, my wife, so we've got real ins there.
Oh yeah,
that need the help. Yeah, and so anyways, but truly, you were just actually telling me we were racing back from a client. We want to get this recorded and up for timely posting.
Yeah.
We bring this out each Friday, noon Central, and we want to keep you apprised of what we're going on. But anyways, one of the things that we were talking about on the way back is you've got a meeting on Friday with somebody that is, we don't have to really get into who that person is, but somebody that's been in the real estate industry a long time, kind of basically retired from it, probably a little bit of a godfather figure in the sense of, everybody knows who that is.
Yeah.
That's really kind of taken interest in, the plan that we put together, but you're really executing.
Yeah.
And really taking the bull by the horns. You said that, you went and set up the real estate school. What that really just means is it's an entity that provides continuing ed. But what I loved is, and I think I told you that I just loved it, that you just took the ball and ran with it, right?
Yeah.
But we needed to do this, and then you found the right person, you found it online, you got the application going. And so what I would say to those that are in my position where we're looking at retirement, whether it's 5, 10, 15 years down the road, and we're bringing in the next generation, whether it's your family or not, is that I've really told myself I have to just not be open-minded, but just be ready to say yes, be ready to go, well, you try and figure that out. If you know how to do it, then I can get comfortable with it, versus no. You and I are talking on the way back that in the tax industry, you would probably need to have grinded it out for 10 years before you were doing what you're doing now.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm just saying all that is literally for me, because we kind of ran out of time. So when you meet with this person, you're going to go through more just like, hey, here's more of the plan, and we've kind of sketched some stuff here. And this isn't you're not meeting with them to go, well, what do we do next? And we don't know what we're doing. How can you help us?
Yeah.
But fill me in a little bit, kind of related to this upcoming meeting.
Yeah. So it's actually two gentlemen that I'll be talking with tomorrow.
It's tomorrow?
Actually, no, 2 days from now.
Okay.
When this is getting released,
the day it's released.
I will be having coffee. But yeah, no, it really just to explain to them what we're trying to do. I've already explained it to one of these gentlemen briefly.
So you're meeting with some other
new No, I haven't met this guy before, and it's a referral of the main guy that I met the first time. Um, but both of them, well, I'd say one of them is really looking just to almost be a mentor, in terms of, he had at one point the largest real estate agency in the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And
Let's not get too detailed,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
no,
public,
yeah.
right?
But um, just all the experience that he gains from that
Yeah.
is more what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So he has some good ways to advise,
Yeah.
but also obviously he had a huge grasp on the real estate world for a long period of time, and so he's just more getting us in touch with others that he thinks are going to help, really build this brand that we're trying to build in this real estate.
Now, are they getting in? He's getting us in touch, really, you as you execute it, with end users, like people that would eventually become clients of mine, or is it brokers that we would go in and provide continuing ed, or who's he really connecting us with?
Uh, they're going to know those higher names that are going to have more reach to realtors than probably we could ever have, at least starting off. And really, I think, when I've been talking with some people, but COI, center of interest, those kind of people are going to be more valuable to us than actually realtors, and that's the role that these people are going to play. I don't need this guy to come to our seminar.
Right.
If he wants to come, great,
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. Right.
But I'm not meeting this guy to tell him about my seminar so he can come, or tell us about our
Right,
continuing ed. And I'm not telling him about our tax services and what we can do for him. I'm more telling him these things because I want him to now go share the message.
Yeah.
And I think that's really one of the most important things I think I'm gaining out of meeting these people is they're going to know a lot more people in the real estate industry than we do, and that we will, and only because they've been in it for so long. And so that's really where they're going to be helpful to us. We're not looking for their business. We don't, if they become a client, great, awesome.
Right.
But I think that's really where they're going to be that help, and especially being seniors, and these are people that they like to see the growth in the young generation. They don't have the sour taste about the younger kids coming in.
Yeah. This is like a grandpa age.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like in their 70s. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, affectionately.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
My grandpa was in 76 when he passed, right?
Yeah. So and that's around these guys' age. So I think that's also really cool of them to help kind of water our seed that I have planted, obviously with you, but so I think they're really just going to be a help, and I think they understand that as well.
So they're kind of a COI. You say center of interest. That's interesting. When I was younger, it was center of influence, but center of interest must be your generation's.
Maybe it's
or maybe I'm remembering it wrong.
Yeah, but
yeah, you're right. Those are super key. I've told you, the financial advisor that you're working with on this a lot is Jared, and his father Jerry has been a friend and a client, for many, many years as well. They're in the financial planning industry, and with that, a lot of synergies, and you guys have a lot of excitement together. But so, like, literally fill me in a little bit more. Like, so, but you and Jared are meeting with this person on Friday. So how are you guys kind of joining forces on this? You and Jared.
Yeah, I think we just piggyback off of each other so well that there's absolutely no way someone's toes could get stepped on. Meaning he's coming from a completely different angle than I am coming. And so it's almost, you've been using the term Avengers, but it's like, it's kind of one of those. Like we need him to, really help reach the thousands that we want to reach. And he's just going to add that much more to it. So I think Jared and I have realized that, and we also realize there's a friendship going on. This is not just also business partners. This is just something that, I think is really going to help boost Jared and I at the start of our careers.
Yeah.
And so when I came to him with this whole idea that, we had kind of drawn up and, no one else really knew about it, I think Jared, aside from Amanda and my significant other, Jared might have been the first one to actually hear about the whole plan.
Yeah.
And he's just been so happy to be a part of it since the beginning. And I think he's just going to be a great guy for it.
Yeah.
And
well, we got our families have 27 plus year relationship and friendship and trust, and so it's really something special. You know, I should clarify because I was walking out the other day. I don't know if it was you, and I said, you know, I, and I was with Amanda, and she's like, well, I do want you to remember that, and we were having fun, right? And a lot of people know who Amanda is, but she's like, you know, I'm really the one that came to you and Cooper and was like,
Oh yeah.
guys, there is no one. So here's where the opportunity really is, and what Amanda shared is, you know, you go to these real estate events, which is their continuing ed or their seminars or their gatherings or their fundraisers, and there's, you know, every kind of industry that works with realtors, from handy, repair shops and moving company, title company, banking, but zero zip none with anything related to financial, as in financial advising, but zero in bookkeeping or tax or any of that kind of stuff. So Amanda's been kind of saying it for a while, and then kind of going into this tax season, and during this tax season, you know, I told Coop that, you know, I don't really want you to end up where, you know, I'm not saying I did it wrong or I could have done it better, but I didn't do it as efficiently. And when you have big clients, they can really absorb a lot of time. And technically, they're not as profitable if you have a lot of just good size, solid businesses. And so with realtors and listening to what Amanda said, I was like, you know, this would be a way that you could really go deep and really have a niche that you get more economies of scale. But share a little bit more, because you and Jared are going together.
Yeah.
So what's his role in Friday morning? Like, what are you guys doing together? You just both doing the same thing, getting the COI out of it, or
yeah. He's just looking for the same thing I'm looking for, and so
and Jared knows this guy before you did.
Jared knew
the first guy.
The first guy, yeah. He knows guy one, and guy one's introducing us to guy two. So Jared is the original connect.
So you're meeting with guy one, guy two.
Yes.
Okay. And I thought you were meeting again with guy one.
No. So yeah, that's exactly what Friday is just sharing our message to the next guy.
So guy one's doing his thing.
Yes.
He's just being a center of influence.
He's bringing other more influences around. So,
well, I do think you can share the broker, but what was he telling us? So when he was a broker, what did he do with his agents for what we're talking about?
Yeah. So when I gave him the idea, kind of gave him our little pitch about what we were thinking about doing, and I think the biggest part that everyone's surprised by is the continuing ed part, and I think that's where everyone's like, that's what's drawing everybody. That's the part that's really going to drag people in. And so I told him that, and he was like, awesome that you guys are doing that. And he was like, I did the exact same thing for my agency. For all my agents, once a month, all 140 of them showed up for a seminar held by him, but each time they brought in someone else, and it was an insurance agent, and it was a financial advisor, and it was, you know, all these different kinds of people, and to help advise his agents, because he, as a broker, also saw an opportunity, and almost out of the kindness of his heart was like, I need to help advise these people that how to actually, you know, collect this income and what you should be spending your money on, and you know, really the ins and outs of business. So as you know, and it obviously proved successful, that his realtors were not just knowledgeable in real estate, they were knowledgeable in business. And I think that really helped with his success of his agency. So when he heard that we were doing this, he was like, I did that exact same thing. Why? Because he thought it was a great idea. He didn't need to put on seminars. He already had 100 plus people to talk to. That was his seminar. He didn't need to invite others. He just had his agents. So he basically was saying like, yeah, great idea. And you basically saying, you guys are doing exactly what I wanted, like I was doing, but it was just with my own agency. You know, and that'll end up being, you know, it could be that's what we're doing after a time period. It's like, well, it's just a monthly seminar with our clients. And we bring in a guest.
Right.
You know, and they're all realtors or in the real estate area, which I just thought that was interesting, because you don't hear that a lot from brokers.
Yeah.
Especially, at least not around here.
Yeah.
At least not around here. There's not brokers doing that for firms. But I mean, even at his age, he's 75 plus. He was out of the state of Oklahoma for a little bit. He's back, and you know, real estate firms agencies caught wind that he was home, and reached out to him, you know, and they were wanting him to come speak to their agents.
Yeah.
So I really do. Everybody we've told about it has just, when they really hear the grand scheme of things, I'm like, that's going to be.
Yeah.
I think there's a real niche for that, especially
Yeah.
around here. No one's reached out to those people yet.
Yeah. Do you mind getting our waters? You
Yeah.
poured us some waters, but we forgot to get them.
Yeah.
While he's doing that, for those that are in my position, and you're, whether it's thank you, whether it's family or going to be just the next generation, I hope what you're seeing, and which I'm sure you are, is the enthusiasm, the energy, the excitement, right? And what that also, though, requires of me is I can right now in my head go, well, you better say this, you better say that, and you better have people sign this, you better do this. And I don't think I've done that. Now I've said, we always want to make sure people can say and talk and but let's make sure they walk it. And it's, this all seems like easy peasy, right? But it's also like, what's everybody want out of it? Seems like it's all natural and wonderful. More just to say, that's about where I left it, right? So if you, had been in here, 4 or 5 years ago, I would have been like, well, wait a second, I need to be at the meeting, and who are they? And well, then does that mean you're coming in late? And well, I have stuff for you to do, and we'll make sure you get a business card, and then will they need to sign this, and then well, I want to know who these other people are, and I better look into them. And it sounds all controlling, but at least in the tax industry as well, my generation and kind of, building a practice and protecting it is then going, no, don't do it yet. Don't do it yet. And then nothing happens. And then really the younger generation goes, well, I guess I'm going to go do this myself because I can, and I have the energy and the enthusiasm. And with you having the energy and enthusiasm, I'm reaping the benefit. So, we're talking about doing the CE, and you tracked down some CE that I had done, and you were like, hey, Dad, I've got this. We just need to update it. You're doing the application, didn't even ask. So that's awesome. I do want to jump into, we've talked in the first three podcasts of the Boardroom about Canopy. So here's the other thing with just saying, hey, Coop, we need to put together a partnership with Canopy. So I come in yesterday, and Coop goes, hey, when you have 5 minutes, we're on with Canopy right now. We're doing some other training and learning about this, this, and this. Can you jump on? Because they're ready to now tell us about the partnership. And then boom. So don't just tell them in the sense of repeating what we did, because the other thing I want you to tell me is, what did you guys actually go over yesterday? But also tell them what you lined up, because we have a partnership now.
Yeah. So we, with our connect at Canopy, which at some point there will be a link in probably the bio to these videos as well as other videos to book direct meetings with him, for you and your other accounting firms out there.
And wait, for 2 seconds, what is Canopy? I should have even said.
Canopy is a tax software. Is probably the correct term, but it's not a downloadable software. It's just a web page essentially they're going to, but
it doesn't prepare taxes.
No, it doesn't prepare tax returns, but it is all organization and communication with clients that any tax professional could ever think of, ever.
Yeah. So we have a portal.
Yeah.
You're able to do e-sign.
They have automated.
By the way, we probably make like $30 if you sign up.
Yeah.
Right? So,
but they're, say a client comes to you and say, hey, I received this IRS letter, and it's about this form. Well, Canopy has auto-generated responses to these emails explaining to your client what that tax letter is, why you got the letter, and what needs to be done to resolve it. And it's even just
plus
good for
form letters to even respond to the IRS.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, it just goes down as deep as anybody could think. It's like, oh, well, does it have that? It's like, I bet you it does. Because, they have AI-generated emails that you can quite literally pick the tone. I know that's kind of becoming more of a thing. ChatGPT and stuff like that, but the way they're using AI is in favor of the tax professional, and they have e-sign requests with the KBA, the knowledge-based authentication, which is required by the IRS for e-signatures on tax returns.
Tell them about the email where my mind was blown here a few weeks ago. How if the email of the clients in Canopy and you have your email connected to Canopy.
Yeah, if you have your email connected to Canopy, you can go through. There's a communications tab that you click on, and so you're on your client. You've looked up your client. You're now on his file location on Canopy, and at the top there's a bar that says communication, and now it is any history associated with this client and the email that they have signed up with, which is usually the email that we communicate
right,
with, obviously.
Which is crazy amazing.
And so there's absolutely no way, you're working on you're looking at a tax document that he has, and well, crap. So now you're not going to a whole different, now you're opening up Outlook or Gmail, and you're now scrolling and searching his name, and gosh dang it, where is this email? I cannot find it. Or this has just happened many times. It's like, I'm about to call this client, but I need to remember, what did we talk about? What number amount? Did we tell him 8,000 or 9,000 on this estimate? Or whatever it is. Well, right here, there's not a search for it. It's just like, it was 3 emails ago. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So it's really just, but the best thing about it is it is catered for, I bet you a lot of other businesses could find a use out of this, but it is catered for accounting firms. That's the best part of it. Yeah. And last year alone, they made 900 updates to the Canopy software.
Wow.
Just meaning like they're not even to their ceiling yet. Like this has just really hit the market within the last couple of years, and it's really started to get gain traction, and so it's only getting better from here. It's only going to get more convenient for tax professionals to use.
Well, and if you watch other episodes, Coop and I went to a seminar. Darren and Andy Root, yes, RightWorks, and they were talking about various softwares and technology, and one of them was Canopy. And back in October of last year, Coop went on his own, got things scheduled. So again, older generation like me,
we were just talking. There's something. There's a new feature that we learned about on Canopy.
Is that what you were talking to them about yesterday?
I came to my dad yesterday and I said, I have an idea, and you've never budged once on this.
Never allowed it.
Never allowed it once in your whole career.
I'm going to pause. And here's what I said in my head. Say yes.
Yeah.
Figure out a way to say yes. I did. You don't know that. But in my head, I was like, okay, then if Cooper's telling me you're not going to probably go for this, Alona said you would never do it, you never have. First thing I thought in my head is, I got to find a way to say yes so that we can move forward with things. So anyway.
Yeah. But do you mind if I share with them what it was?
Yeah.
So Canopy offers a pre-filled e-signature request template. So meaning for Form 8879 for e-file forms, or if wherever your e-file form for the state that you live in, if you have a state tax, it auto-fills where those boxes need to be placed on that form for them to be e-signed. Now, with their technology and how new it is, this was just released, as far as I know. The only issue I saw with this, I said, that's great. This is going to save so much time when we're sending our e-signature requests. And I told you, I think it's going to save our administrative assistant 5 hours a week. Seriously, 5 hours a week during tax season. It's going to save her, which is awesome. It opens up plenty of time for her now to do other things. Yeah. And so the only problem was, I think it's only on the page number of each of those forms, because the template is associated with the kind of document that you're putting into it. So 1040, 1120S. So usually our e-file forms, for liability reasons, really always follow each portion of the return, of their respective return.
Right. So this was when a client's looking at a PDF, they have to go through the cover letter, go through the whole return before they get to the e-file form.
Yep.
So that a client is able to have the opportunity to look at it, but then I don't have a client later saying, oh, well, I never even looked at the return. Anyways,
so that was his reason why I never budged on moving the e-file forms.
Yeah.
And so I said, Dad, this is going to save so much time, but here's the kicker. E-file forms got to move. And I said, they got to be the same pages on every single document. All tax returns are not the same size, so they don't always fall at the same page number. So I said, why don't we do cover letter, e-file form page 2, e-file form page 3, if it's an Oklahoma resident. And then at the very end of the tax return, to now save our liability, we just have a few short sentences that now the client also e-signs this page, and it just indicates that they have reviewed the return, the information is correct. We haven't gone into exactly what that is going to read. Something of the sort, the client agreeing that, yes, I've now read this return, I agree it's correct, all information is true, I've signed.
What did I say?
And he was like, why didn't I think of that?
15 years ago.
Yeah. And he
I said if somebody would have brought that up to me.
Yeah.
And so that's why I told Coop, I was like, well, Man, thanks for doing that. I think the advantage of having my son is that he doesn't mind speaking up. He doesn't perceive it as disrespectful. I think for other young folks that I've had over the years, I'm not a mean guy or intimidating, but they probably are going like,
Well, your
well,
boss.
what do I know? I mean, like he knows, he's the guy that owns it, but you're looking at it as, well, this is my dad, so I know that I can also show him a different way, or he might listen. But then also, you're coming in
Yeah.
with the mindset of ownership,
Well,
right?
and because of your mindset too, though, you've have instilled that into me, like you had said, allowing these new things to happen.
Yeah,
If I came to you with 3 ideas and each idea got shot down, well,
right,
ideas might quit after a while.
right,
Hasn't been the case.
right.
But you being like, all right, Coop, like
Yeah,
get your first feel what these reins feel like in your hand.
right.
Really start to figure this out.
Yeah,
And so you really just kind of like, hey, Dad, I'm doing this. Cool, do it.
yeah,
Just like you
yeah,
said, just say yes to it. Say it.
yeah,
And then you're like, yeah. So
yeah,
you've instilled that confidence in me to be like, hey,
yeah.
and again, that's circumstantial and it's understandable. You are dad.
Right.
At the
Yeah.
end of the day, these other, younger folks that you had with you in similar
Right.
roles were your boss.
Right.
At the end of the day, you're their boss.
Right.
Um,
I'm just going to add in that even though I'm saying yes, and I go, that sounds good. I think Coop's doing a good job of, when he is telling me about it, he's answering the questions that I have. If he doesn't have the answers, he goes and finds them, so I can at least have enough information. And then I kind of go, okay, we'll go in this direction, and then when you hit this point, bring it back. Let me understand it a little bit more. Then go to the next step, and then well before it gets implemented, before it goes to a client, before it could create any kind of hassle, problem, liability, well, then at some point, so I'm letting it get to right at launch of, okay, we're now getting ready to actually tell clients to e-sign.
I'm going into the waiting room. I'm getting the client. I'm getting them in their gown. I'm shaving their arm. I'm putting the IV in. I'm telling them what's going to happen. Okay, now we're going to do anesthesia. Then you're going to wake up. And you're now coming in the operating room.
Right. But I'm coming in the operating room, and then you're saying, okay, so we're going to do here. I marked it here. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And I'm like, you got it. Right.
Yeah.
So I think with this, I also think, would it be true that when you come to me with a new idea, I think you recognize, like, you have a new idea, but you haven't seen it played out yet with the client or with the layout or how it's going to be perceived. And so I feel as though then when I'm giving you feedback, we're just problem solving on the fly versus, nope, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's, okay, well, make sure it this and this because the client's going to potentially perceive it this way.
Well, and I'm have even come to you with ideas of, like, even structure ways, or in terms of an LLC, or could they do this, or, well, if they did this, does that now allow this? And that's just also me part of learning the business. And so it's like, Dad, why I've never, like, why don't we try this? And you're like, well, can't actually, because, but that's just part of the learning the ins and outs of the whole thing, and really feeling the reins. Or it's like, well, I thought I was gonna, this is how I thought I come to you, whatever it is about. But it's like, I'm meeting the client. I was going to do this for him. It's like, I did that once. It blew up in my face, and here's why, because I didn't think of this while doing it. So yes, do that.
Right.
But do it this way, or, make sure it includes that, or take that portion out because for whatever reason they didn't like that part.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay. So, like, great idea. Minor adjustment. That's just from your knowledge that I just don't have.
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing too is, Cooper has, for instance, I was laughing earlier because Alona and I were trying to figure out how Canopy would link up to the emails. So you described it earlier that if they've signed up for their account, right, meaning their login, their user is that email, then if they email, it ties it together and it's just automatically in that portal that that we have access to, right? And so I'm in with Alona, and Alona and I are getting ourselves kind of flustered. And I was like, well, we need to figure out how you can go to an email and then you click it and then you assign it and then you do this. And then Alona and I come to you and I'm like, okay, we've got to figure this out. We'll probably need to wait till after tax season, but we need to be able to show how when we get email and then you look at Alona and I and you're like, guys, it's already doing it. And I was like, no. You don't understand, Coop. We want to do this, this, and this. And then you're like, you log in and you're like, guys, it's already here. And
Yeah.
we're both like, what?
Yeah.
And here's my point in saying this is I've learned from that and a few other things. When Coop starts to show me something, I'm like, you know what? I'm not actually going to ever tell a client how to e-sign something.
Yeah.
I don't need to know how that works in terms of every little inconsistency. Well, how do you mark it and how do you check it, right? What I asked for is show me final result, and then you just show me what the client sees.
Yeah.
And all I'm getting at is, doesn't mean if you're interested in all that stuff, but I think if it was up to Alona and I, we would have probably still not put into Canopy if we were doing it in our old ways.
Yeah.
We really just would have been like, well, I need to really understand it. It's like, well, listen, obviously I'm already tech challenged when she and I are like doing this and you're like, guys, started doing it.
Yeah.
Right? And same thing. What was the other thing? I don't know if we talked about in the podcast. Oh, tell them about Canopy on the receipt thing. It's like mind boggling. And
the client can just from their phone on an app, click, add a file, scan or take a picture, and then they get to then click what they're actually uploading, and receipt is an option, and then it actually allows them to name the receipt, what it was, either meals and entertainment or where they spent, where that receipt is receipt from, which is just awesome.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe we did talk about it last week.
I think we
said
did.
that.
I think we did.
Yeah.
Well,
but anyways,
there also another new exciting partnership in the midst of the works that we can talk about in episode 5.
Probably.
Maybe get
6.
Okay.
It's going to be game changer for you, for every business, for every one of your clients. I mean, like game changer. Like right now, let's just say collectively, okay, so this is bad, right? Because we're supposed to be accountants. But what would be like, so 25 grand times 50 would be like $1.2 million. I think this is going to save our clients. Doesn't cost them a dime.
Nope.
Absolutely will save them.
And there's able to save you guys as well.
Yeah. It's
same amount.
No brainer. It's something new that's happening across the U.S. And it's not even a gimmick. It sells itself. It's associated
it seems like it, but it's not. It's not.
Yeah,
it's a no-brainer.
Crazy. So the reason I'm not telling you yet is that this week we're actually implementing this into our company.
That's why I say
episode
5 or episode 6.
Then we're going to roll it out to our clients.
Oh,
and I mean, I already floated to 2 clients who are like, if you're doing it, why wouldn't we do that? That's a no-brainer.
Yes.
Like we're going to immediately save probably $25,000.
Oh yeah.
Over a course of 12 months.
Yeah.
There's zero gimmick to this thing.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
No.
So, and greatest guys ever.
Oh yeah. Awesome guys.
They said we're part of the Avengers with you guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I know you're younger, so Cooper's on these phone calls. We have another partner, and they're like, because Captain America, Avengers, and all that. They're like, I want to be Black Widow on your team, JJ. Yeah. Somebody my age. We're talking to these group, and they're like, listen, the CEO, we're having fun. He's like, I want to be the Hulk.
Yeah.
And the other guy was like, well, I want to be this, on the Avengers. And then I was like, Coop, what is this on the Avengers? You're like, man, I don't know. So anyway, here's the older generation having fun that you would think would really probably be your lingo. But anyway, you're going to have to figure out who you are in the Avengers.
I know.
I'm going to say Iron Man.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm Captain America, you're Iron Man. I would take it. Like, gotta be.
Yeah,
right?
Gotta be.
The equals. We did, in the movie, what was it, War or whatever?
Yeah.
Neither one of them ever won.
Yeah.
They were just equals at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Well, do you think we want to keep it to a certain time period?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think we every time we do this, we should be paying attention to when we started it? You think we're good?
45 minutes.
So we just wanted to make sure we're respecting everybody's time.
Oh, yeah.
So reality is that we're into the summer. We're taking a little bit of time off. I'm going to be at the lake. We've got a holiday coming up.
Yep.
And, the next week, Alona's going to be on vacation. So really, you will be running the show next week.
Yes.
You and your, our assistant, but really your assistant direct. So have fun.
Yes.
And here's what Coop told me. He's like, we're finally going to get a lot of work done. He said it's probably going to be the busiest week we have. given that you guys are going to be gone, so we won't have me and Alona like, well, maybe you can help with this and you can with that. So
Yeah.
you've been very productive.
Yes.
But anyway, so man, I thought we talked about some really good stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, think
Yeah.
we did good.
Oh yeah, we're good.
Thanks for tuning in. We'd love it if you'd subscribe. Tell some people about this. And then don't you ever forget, you've never met a father and son team quite like JJ and CJ. What's your parting words?
Thank you for watching episode 4 of the Boardroom. We'll catch you next week.
All right, perfect. Love you.
Love you.